elected officials, honorees, and other distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who may not know me, my name is Camille Warwick. I'm a municipal police lieutenant. I'm also the founding president of the Muslim American Law Enforcement Association, better known as MALEA. Welcome and thank you for making the time to be with us at MALEA's third annual Iftar and award ceremony. I know some of you have traveled quite some distance to be here with us, and that means a great deal to us. And on behalf of other MALEA members, thank you. We're truly honored and humbled by this phenomenal turnout. Before we begin the program, I would like to acknowledge our hosting partners. Thank you to the board of Masjid Al-Wali for allowing us to use this space. Edison Mayor, who I do not see here, Sam Joshi, Deputy Chief Dudash, I guess will be arriving, and as well as Middlesex County Prosecutor Yolanda Ciccone. So thank you. If everyone could please stand up for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States Republic, which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A moment of silence, please. Thank you. MALEA is an all-inclusive interfaith law enforcement charity organization. When I started MALEA in June of 2020, right after the pandemic and the incident of George Floyd, two significant events that may have changed our country forever, I understood the importance of having an all-inclusive association. Even though we represent Muslim law enforcement officers, our true strength comes from the diversity of the association. I believe this was one of the best decisions I made. You cannot preach inclusivity while being exclusive. Embracing all into the association brought members with vast amounts of knowledge, on-the-job experience, influence, resources, and most importantly, an appreciation for each other's culture and religions. MALEA has engaged in a lot of charity work since its inception, which has given the members a great opportunity to serve the less fortunate and a platform to highlight the service and the sacrifices of law enforcement officers in a time when law enforcement as a profession may not be looked at in the best of light by some. It has given us the opportunity to showcase who we truly are and why we became police officers to begin with. That at the core of our reason is and always will be service and sacrifice for others, something very consistent with the religion of Islam and many other faiths, which is why today we will acknowledge and recognize some of our very own who have served selflessly. Forgive me. You will see a consistent theme of individuals being recognized for giving back to others throughout this program. As you can see, there are a lot of dignitaries here. I would like to acknowledge everyone, however, I have to do it in segments. And speaking of giving back, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge two very special guests of ours, United States District Judge Zahid Qureshi and United States Magistrate Judge Ruxana Singh. Thank you for being here. These two judges from the federal bench are role models for the community at large, and especially to the Muslim community. They do not hesitate to spend one of the most valuable things you can give to the community, your personal time. And for that, we appreciate you wholeheartedly. I would also like to acknowledge some of our federal law enforcement executives with us today, starting with U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey, Philip Selinger. Thank you for being here for the second year. We're privileged to have First Assistant U.S. Attorney Vikas Khanna, Executive Assistant U.S. Attorney Lee Cortez, FBI Special Agent in Charge James Dennehy, DEA SAC Nick Colon, ATF SAC Brian Miller, Secret Service SAC Jose Rayera, and HSI SAC Ricky Patel. Thank you all. We feel enormous gratitude for your presence here today. And with that, I would like to request U.S. Attorney Phil Selinger to the stage to say a few words.
Salam alaikum. Good evening. I'm very honored to be here tonight. I thank you, Lieutenant. I thank MALEA for the privilege of being here tonight to share in the break of the fast, to celebrate with those here, the good company, the good conversation, and I do remember the really wonderful food that was served last year, so very much looking forward to that again. I feel very proud to be joined as speakers today with Attorney General Platkin, with Colonel Callahan, Special Agent in charge of the FBI, Dennehy. Together, all of us work to promote unity and tolerance and diversity among those of all faiths and religions, and they are wonderful partners in that effort, and I'm very proud to be working with them. I'd like to begin with a short story that I've shared with some of you before. A friend of mine who is Muslim grew up in Passaic County in the 1980s. He grew up in a working class neighborhood with people of multiple faiths and religions. Some of his friends were Jewish. He played at their homes, they played at his. They understood that there were different faiths and different cultures, but they liked each other, they had fun, and that's all that mattered. As he grew older, he learned that adults in both communities, Muslim and Jewish, oftentimes had a deep mistrust of each other. And that mistrust was based on a historical conflict in some far-off land that he knew very little about. But he didn't let that mistrust get in his way of relationships because he knew a number of Jewish people and he had some basic understanding of their customs. Fast forward a couple of decades, he became a leader in his community, and he and I together worked to create the Muslim-Jewish Advisory Council in New Jersey, which worked together to promote issues of common concern to the Muslim and Jewish communities, one of which was hate crime reporting, hate crime being a significant issue for both the Muslim and the Jewish communities at that time. And the conflict in the far-off land still continued, but the Muslim-Jewish Advisory Council recognized that what brought both communities together was far greater than what kept them apart. Now, why do I tell this story? I tell this story because it shows how the power of unity and understanding can bring communities together. And the work that I did with the Muslim-Jewish Advisory Committee and travels that I did throughout the Middle East and a number of the countries in the Arabian Gulf showed me firsthand how unity and understanding, communities working together, could lead to great results. So we need to celebrate and value the diversity of our communities. People here obviously understand that, but we know that there are people in the community who do not celebrate diversity. The Muslim community is oftentimes subject to Islamophobia and extreme misconceptions. There are people who have Islamophobia, have hate, have bias, and the Muslim community is subjected to that, as are today the African American community, the Jewish community, the LGBT community, the Asian American community. Hate crime and bias is up across the country with respect to all these communities. The United States Attorney's Office is committed to working to protect the Muslim communities and especially the communities that are targeted most often, those which I mentioned. As many of you know, one of my first acts as U.S. Attorney was to create a civil rights division, bringing together attorneys solely dedicated to protecting the civil rights of those in New Jersey. And the division has been very active. We have brought criminal charges in the last year charging a defendant with allegedly throwing a Molotov cocktail at a synagogue, an individual charged with allegedly publishing a manifesto threatening to destroy synagogues in New Jersey, and along with Ocean County, an individual who was charged with allegedly attacking 5 different visibly identifiable members of the Orthodox Jewish community by carjackings and 1 stabbing. And I'm very proud of the work that my office has done specifically to protect the Muslim community. As some of you know, a number of years ago, the Islamic Association of Basking Ridge sought to build a mosque in Bernards Township in an area which was zoned to permit the construction of houses of worship as of right. And after 4 years of zoning proceedings, far longer than those proceedings usually take, that zoning application to build a mosque was denied. My office filed suit. We forced the town to permit the construction of that mosque, and I am very pleased to advise that today, this year, the mosque opened for the first time. So we have a number of other initiatives, one of which is the United Against Hate initiative, which brings law enforcement in an effort to build trust between law enforcement and particularly marginalized communities who are less inclined to report hate crimes and bias incidents. And we go out to communities across the state and would be happy to visit any community or house of worship that any of you are members of and would like to invite us to. So let me conclude by saying that, again, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. We stand at the U.S. Attorney's Office. We stand with the Muslim community. We stand with all protected communities and all people of goodwill, and we'll continue to fight every day to protect the civil rights of all our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, U.S. Attorney Sanjay, for your leadership and sharing your thoughts with us. Before I go any further, I apologize. I completely neglected to mention United States Marshal Juan Matos. Forgive me, sir. In terms of our state law enforcement executives, I would like to start with acknowledging the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the state, New Jersey Attorney General Plackett, for being here for the 2nd year. This year, AG Plackett is accompanied by the following members of his office: newly appointed Director of Community Engagement for the Attorney General, Director Yolanda Melville, Counsel to the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General Alidayo Adu, New Jersey Division of Criminal Justice Chief of Detectives Weldon Powell, and Community Outreach Liaison for DCJ Dave Leonardis. I would like to welcome New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness Director Lori Duran, also here for the 2nd year, New Jersey State Police Colonel Patrick Callahan and other leadership present here today, New Jersey Division of Civil Rights Director Sandeep Iyer, New Jersey Civil Service Commission Executive Director of EEO and Diversity Program, Dr. Charlie Williams. Thank you for being here. These are just some of the agencies that MALEA is in partnership with on different projects quite frequently, and we sincerely appreciate the invitations to participate, rainstorm issues of community interest, and the opportunity to provide honest feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Plackett to the stage. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Kareem. Thank you, Lieutenant. As you were going through the list of everybody here, I hope nobody needs anything from the state or federal government in New Jersey this afternoon, because they were all on the road coming here. It's great to be here. Again, this is the 2nd year in a row, and it seems to be growing each year, which is a good thing. And I'll touch on that more in a second. But so many of my colleagues, and I won't be able to name everybody, but Colonel Callahan is my partner in so many of these efforts. All of our federal partners, starting with United States Attorney Philip Sellinger, Special Agent in Charge, Dennehy, and all of our other federal partners. In New Jersey, we speak with one voice across all levels of government, and federal, state, local, county, including, importantly, our county prosecutors. I think almost all of them are here, it seems. And a special shout out to Prosecutor Ciccone, home county prosecutor. But we're fortunate here in New Jersey. We speak with one voice. We speak with one voice, particularly against bias and hate of any kind. And sadly, and unfortunately, we've been speaking about that topic probably more than anybody would like to. By the way, Homeland Security Director from the state, Lori Duran, also critical in our efforts in partnership with state and federal government. When I say that, it's because we all know, and you all know, that bias and hate are on the rise, as U.S. Attorney Selinger said. And we could say that for every single group. You know, we live in arguably the most diverse state in the country. We also live in a state with one of the highest percentages of our population being Muslim of any state in the country. We're right up there at the top, and it's growing significantly. It's one of the fastest growing populations in the state. And again, that's a good thing. And so I want to thank MALEA and all the officers. By the way, officers who deserve a round of applause, not just for the hard work they do every day, but particularly this month, for those who are observing Ramadan, who are showing up, keeping us safe while they're fasting, taking 12-hour shifts while they're fasting. Please, everybody. Now, I'm Jewish. I was born on Yom Kippur. We fast one day a year, and if you want to see a group of frustrated and angry people, it's a long, it's anybody who's doing a long service at the end of Yom Kippur. So we do that one day. So for those of you who do that every single day, and particularly those of you in uniform, I give you my deepest thank you and gratitude. But bias and hate is on the rise, and it's on the rise with the Muslim community. And we've seen some really ugly events in this state, and frankly, in this community. And I want you to know that when I say we speak with one voice, that's not just like a buzzword or a catchphrase. We mean it. We're literally in the same rooms or on the phone, working day and night with the folks in this room to keep everyone safe. And it starts at the local level with our police officers, our state police, our county prosecutors, our federal partners, and my office. And when we talk about public safety, when I say I'm the chief law enforcement officer tasked with keeping our residents safe, yes, that means tackling the epidemic of gun violence. We're doing that, by the way, 25% reduction last year. But it also means making sure that people feel safe in their communities to live and work, and importantly, worship, however it is that they choose to do so. That's their right. And so, when I say we speak with one voice, it's because that's core to our responsibility as law enforcement officers. It's also core, I think, to our responsibility as law enforcement officers to have ranks that reflect the diversity of this state. So one of the things we've done in partnership, by the way, Assemblyman Stanley's here, as well as partnership with the Assembly and the Legislature and the Governor, we are putting out demographics for all of our law enforcement offices in the state, local and state. And we're showing what do those demographics look like, not just in raw numbers, but how do they relate to the communities that those offices represent. And I would be lying to you if I said we didn't have some work to do. But we know that we have work to do. And we're trying to be as transparent about that work as we can. And that includes getting more members of the Muslim community to join these ranks. Because ultimately what we do that for is so that we can build trust. Because when we want to tackle, and I'll finish with this, when we want to tackle bias or hate or any challenge we have in public safety in our community, if we don't have trust, no one will ever come forward and share information with us. Why would you tell somebody about a threat to public safety if you didn't think they were going to care, if they didn't understand your community's needs? And so when we increase the diversity of our offices, when we have organizations like MALEA showing that you can observe the fast and still be a police officer in the state of New Jersey, that there's a lot of folks in blue who are getting up at 2, 3 in the morning and having their last meal for the day, for this month. And we brought everybody to Trenton, or a significant number of leaders in Trenton, to have the first ever Ramadan briefing. And we presented a calendar statewide so that folks could understand, who may not be as familiar with the customs of Ramadan, that it's not so, there's nothing unusual about seeing lights on at 2, 3 in the morning in many communities. That there are certain days that they should be aware of. And that's important, because we want our law enforcement officers to understand the unique needs of this community at this time. It'll make us more responsive, it'll make us more considerate, and ultimately it will make us do a better job keeping all communities safe, but particularly, hey Mayor, welcome, keeping particularly the Muslim community. So I thank you all for your partnership. I thank you all for welcoming me here, and most importantly for those officers out there, particularly those observing Ramadan. Thank you for everything you do.
Thanks, General, for your leadership and partnership, which means a great deal to MALEA. At this point, I would like to call to the stage New Jersey State Police Colonel Patrick Callahan to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Ramadan Kareem. It really is my humble prayer that the joy and the blessings of this iftar extend far beyond this night to everyone here and beyond, to your families and all aspects of your lives. It's good to be together. It's weird to be together after 3 years. For me, the COVID, to be in a room full of people, I still start to twitch a little bit, but it feels good. And I thank MALEA for having me to offer a few remarks. I think of this organization and the diversity even within it. And I thought about the last few weeks. I think we're up to 146 mass shootings in the first 3.5 months. And I think about diversity within our ranks across our country. And I am certain of one thing, that when those officers showed up to the bank in Louisville, or to a school in Nashville, or you fill in the blank with the other 145, that those victims and those parents waiting for those kids did not ask if those officers were Muslim. They did not ask if they were Jewish. They did not ask if they were Christian. They knew these women and men showed up because they took an oath, regardless of their own faith, or whether they worshiped in a mosque or a church or a synagogue. And that's the special part of this noble profession, which at times is under scrutiny. And we all need to embrace that because we hold each other accountable to a higher standard. But on events and nights like tonight, we celebrate that diversity. And we celebrate that we have women and men willing to raise their right hand and put themselves before others, and sometimes give that last full measure of devotion, as President Lincoln once said. So I'm honored to be in this room and certainly to serve shoulder to shoulder. I also heard something a few weeks ago. I was with Special Agent in Charge Dennehy at a conference, and we were talking about tolerance, and we were talking about acceptance, and somebody said what gets tolerated today gets accepted and celebrated tomorrow. You think about that in our roles in this community of law enforcement. What gets tolerated today can be accepted and sadly sometimes celebrated tomorrow. And I share that. I share that now with the troopers that I come, not looking away on small things. Because if you look away and tolerate it, you've just said to everybody there who witnessed you do that, that you've accepted it, and God forbid it gets celebrated. I'll close with what I'm doing this upcoming week. I have the most tremendous honor and privilege to represent all of law enforcement in America, to fly to Poland, to participate in the March of the Living, which is a march from Auschwitz to Birkenau. To be asked to do that, standing here, the hair on my neck has gone up. And the reason why I'm going, and I think why I was asked, because law enforcement was complicit and contributed to those greatest atrocities in World War II. If you walk into the Holocaust Museum, what you see is a Nazi soldier marching down the street with what? With a police officer, because the police officer knew that community inside and out. So I'm going to hopefully show how far we've come. Not perfect by any stretch. We still have miles to go before we sleep, as Robert Frost once said. But to go as a representative of the women and men that will no longer serve as contributing to darkness, but to serve as beacons of hope and light and compassion in a time when our citizens in our neighborhoods, in our communities need us so much. Congratulations to all the recipients tonight. I'm honored to be amongst you, including our trooper, Gus Nikon, undercover for 17 years. He's been involved in a lot, and his wife, Steph, is here. Congratulations to both of them and the other recipients who are just a small percentage of those so willing to go out and put it all on the line for people that they don't even know. That's a special place to be. God bless each and every one of you.
I would now like to request Special Agent in charge of the FBI, James Dennehy, to the stage for a few remarks.
Thank you for having me. I'm Jim Dennehy. I've been the SAC of the FBI Newark office for about the last 9 months, and I love it. I was raised Catholic, and we fast as well on Good Friday. And during Lent, in the Catholic faith, we're not allowed to eat meat on Friday. And on Friday, Good Friday, the Friday before Easter, our fasting consists of having 2 small meals that, when combined, do not equal one normal-sized meal. So as a child, I'm one of 6 kids, and my mother, who was very devout, from Ireland, had us around the dinner table on Good Friday after going to the Stations of the Cross, and she served envelopes for dinner. And when you open the envelope, inside those envelopes were unconsecrated hosts, which is basically nothing but wafers. And that was what was for dinner. And we didn't know any better, so we did what our mother told us, and we ate the hosts. But my father got up and left. And I found out about 20 years later that he went and got pizza. At least it wasn't me. So I appreciate what all Muslims are going through today, and I'm honored to be here to be part of breaking the fast today. And thank you for having me. I'd like to also give kudos to MALEA on the work that the organization has done over the years to serve as the conduit between law enforcement and the Muslim community. And that journey has not been very easy, especially within the FBI, and we are showing signs of great improvement. That partnership, like I said, has not always been easy, but we're learning, and the FBI is learning and adapting, and we would like to pledge our mutual respect, solidarity, and support to the Muslim community and to all communities that we serve. We try to recruit within the FBI to be a mirror of what the community is, from gender to religion to race to diverse groups. And I'm proud to say, especially in Newark, our recruiting numbers are more mirroring of the community than many other field offices and states, and I'm very proud of that. But there's a lot of work to be done, and that starts here. It all starts with partnerships. And I would say, like many have said before me, that partnerships in the law enforcement community in New Jersey are something that I've never seen before in my 21-year career in the FBI. I came from New York, and our main partnership was with the NYPD. And in New Jersey, I have partnerships now in a mere 9 months with dozens and dozens of organizations. And I'd like to commend my brothers and sisters from federal law enforcement agencies who I consider my brothers. Brian with the ATF, and Juan, the grandfather of all law enforcement heads in New Jersey, and Ricky Patel from HSI, who we consider the muscle for our law enforcement. We appreciate, Ricky, that you're keeping us all safe here tonight and you have your eye on the door. Thank you very much for that. To Jose, to the DEA, to Lori with OHS&P, to Colonel Callahan with the Jersey State Police, to Mitch McGuire, who I saw here, to Fritz Frage, to Manny Miranda, I could go on and on and on with the amount of friends that I now have in New Jersey, because they all reached out to me immediately upon my arrival here as the new guy, and they helped me call this place home, so I appreciate that. That now has to be done in our communities as well, and I'm glad to see that that's happening through MALEA, and that's happening through other relationships that we have with the Jewish community, the Asian American community, and beyond. And as the FBI, one of our primary criminal strategies and priorities, I should say, is the hate crimes and civil rights, and they keep increasing. We're required to keep track of all the data nationwide per year. And hate crimes are up 12% between 2020 and 2021. And that 12% might even be a lot more. And the reason why is because I believe that they're not being reported as they should be, because people may not know better, or people may feel intimidated to report that they are a victim of a hate crime. So that relationship and partnership that we have between law enforcement, and then between law enforcement and the different communities, the Muslim community, the Jewish community, and beyond, is vital to ensure that we all collectively can help protect all Americans and beyond. So again, from the FBI, I'd like to pledge our mutual respect, our support, and our solidarity to the Muslim community, and I thank you for having us.
Thank you, Shaq Danny. I would now like to acknowledge a few elected officials that we have here with us today. Edison Mayor Sam Joshi, Councilwoman George Shipp. Shout out to Assemblywoman Sadaf Jaffer, who's a supporting member of MALEA. We appreciate what you do for us. Legislative District 18, Sterling Stanley, who's a member of Assembly Law and Public Safety Committee. So if you want to introduce a bill into Assembly, that's the man to see. Franklin Township Deputy Mayor Ram Anabrasan and Councilwoman Shibauddin. At this point, I would like the special advisor, my big brother, my special advisor to MALEA President, Chief Harrison Dillon, to join me. Yes, go ahead. To join me on the stage to share MALEA's vision, goals, and some accomplishments. He will also assist me with the award ceremony. As you can imagine, I'm having a little bit of a tough time speaking, so going through those bios can be real difficult. But Chief Dillard is a U.S. Army veteran who started his law enforcement career with the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office, moving on to the Morris County Prosecutor's Office, where he retired as a captain after a 25-year career in law enforcement, and is now working as the Chief of Police for Moravian University in Pennsylvania. Chief Dillard is a founding executive board member of MALEA and the founding president of the NAACP chapter of Hunterdon County, and the chair of Civil Rights and Diversity Committee for Noble, New Jersey. Please welcome Chief Dillard.
Good evening, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Assalamu alaikum. I want to echo the sentiments of President Warwick, and thank you all for being here tonight and joining us in this celebration. Before I get started, I want to acknowledge another celebration that we're doing tonight. Tonight, I'm accompanied by my beautiful daughter, Shay, and it's her 27th birthday. So, I want to start off talking about contact theory. Right? Contact theory states that positive personal contacts with members of diverse groups helps improve social relationships, reduce biases, and encourages a more inclusive society. This iftar is living proof of contact theory at work. In this room, there are law enforcement officers and executives from the highest levels of law enforcement representing local, county, state, and federal agencies with diverse backgrounds, with very different lived experiences. There are community leaders, members of the clergy, and other stakeholders with whom we have partnered. There are also members of various affinity groups in attendance, all with very similar missions. Our missions are to serve our communities, to champion our profession, and to build partnerships and work collaboratively to improve the relationship between our communities and our professions. We share our lived experiences and thereby provide a higher degree of cultural competency and increase empathy by walking in each other's shoes. Again, that's why we're here tonight. Tonight is not only a perfect example of these efforts, it's a celebration of them. Most of us have spent the majority of our adult lives in this noble profession. Our goal is to have our profession and our communities see each other through our eyes. We understand that recruitment has been a challenge in recent years for all of law enforcement, and our goal is to steer our youth into our profession and help create a pipeline of qualified candidates from diverse backgrounds. Diversity is not solely about demographics, it's more about lived experiences. Having a police department with members from all walks of life and different lived experiences has many benefits. It increases relatability, trust, legitimacy, improves community relations, and economic equity. Most of us throughout this room have been involved in training throughout our careers. I have a lot of colleagues involved in Top Gun, UNIT, the NJSP, FBI UC School, Delta, resiliency training, it goes on. The focus has always been on officer safety, and more recently has been on officer wellness. Nothing has changed for us. Everything that we're doing is about officer safety and officer wellness. If we improve the relationship between our profession and our community, everybody is safer, and that's our ultimate goal. We hope to give our community a glimpse into the challenges members of law enforcement have. We also want to give our profession a glimpse into the challenges our communities have, our underrepresented and underserved communities, and the challenges that they face. Our work in recent years has been with legislators, state agencies, civil organizations, and various affinity groups, and it has resulted in tremendous partnerships. In June of 2020, we collaborated with legislators and the Civil Service Commission, and our collaboration resulted in 3 new laws that have greatly benefited our profession. One of the legislators who helped champion our cause and that work was the late Ron Rice, who recently passed, and may he rest in peace. One of the laws that we proactively worked on was about proactive recruitment of underrepresented groups. Now, because of those efforts, because of this legislation, there are free prep courses provided by the Civil Service Commission. The state police has really stepped up their efforts to recruit very proactively. We thank them for that. Thank you, Colonel Callahan, for all that. A mentorship program, right? For mentorship, most of us from underrepresented groups are first-generation law enforcement officers, right? We want to help create that pipeline. So there's a mentorship. One of the laws required a mentorship program. The Civil Service Commission is the lead on that program. There's a program that's in place right now. I'm hoping that more people look to join that mentorship program, because we want to create a pipeline and help, again, first-generation new officers and new candidates get into our profession, and we want to help them and mentor them along that path. There's also a creation of a uniform selection and hiring process. Again, the CSC has created a uniform candidate application. So these are just some of the successes that we've had in recent years, legislative successes based on that collaboration with all these stakeholders. We're asking you to help us spread the word about these legislative successes. Like, again, the mentorship program is huge. Dr. Williams is here from the Civil Service Commission, so if you have any questions, we can definitely point you in the right direction to help you get involved in that. Another way you can help support us, especially with our community engagement efforts, is if you look on your tables, your table marker, the placard has a QR code. If you scan that QR code, you're able to donate to MALEA, which goes straight towards, again, the community efforts that we do, whether it's a food drive or school supply drives and giveaways, that any funds that you would donate would go towards helping those community efforts. Finally, I just want to end with what I always end with most of my trainings that I do. I do a lot of implicit bias training in schools, and I'm just going to end with what I say to all of our students when I'm done training. The quote from Maya Angelou: "We are all alike to unalike, my friends." Thank you, and I'm glad to be here tonight. Enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Chief Dillard. And now we're starting our award ceremony. We will read biographies of the award recipients and then call them up to the stage as well as the presenters. We may have several individuals to accompany the presenters on the stage for a picture, and the presenter or the recipient can remain on the stage to say a few words after. And without further ado, let's start with our first recipient, a MALEA member and a good friend of mine, Special Agent, Staff Coordinator with the DEA, Anthony Jennings, and Chief Dillard of Ohio.
This is the part where I get to talk about some of my friends, so I'm going to enjoy this. So, Special Agent Tony Jennings, a really good friend of mine. He began his career as a police officer at Rutgers University Police Department in Newark. He then became a county detective for the Essex County Prosecutor's Office before joining the DEA. Tony has served in the New York, Philadelphia, and Newark field divisions. He is currently serving as a staff coordinator supervisor at DEA headquarters in Arlington, Virginia. In addition to his law enforcement career, Tony also served in the U.S. Army and has over 23 years of honorable service. He has commanded over 500 soldiers, civilians, and DoD personnel throughout his military career. He served in roles such as platoon leader, company commander, staff officer at HQ Department of the Army at the Pentagon, and finished his career as a battalion commander, retiring as a lieutenant colonel. Later in his career in the DEA, Tony was the recruitment coordinator for New Jersey Division. In over a 9-year period, Tony recruited and hired 140 special agents, with 55% of them being men and women from diverse cultures and backgrounds. He also coordinated and executed the college intern program, where he hired 250 interns, again from very diverse backgrounds, who were placed in various departments throughout DEA. Tony was recognized for developing an advanced recruitment model being utilized to increase diversity rates across the country. Recently, his HR recruitment, diversity, equity, and inclusion hiring model was briefed to all senior executive staff, including the DEA administrator. In 2018 and 2020, he was voted top recruiter nationwide out of all 23 field divisions by DEA headquarters. He was also awarded the Federal Executive Board Equal Opportunity Employee Award and featured in the 2020 as a cover story for the inaugural DEA EEO Express newsletter for promoting diversity and inclusion. He has been the keynote speaker for various law enforcement agencies and organizations. In 2020, he became a member of the DEA Leadership Executive Diversity Board Committee. And in 2022, he was selected by the Equal Employment Office as one of the 8 leaders within DEA to share his leadership story nationwide as part of a brand new diversity initiative called We See the Leader Within You. That's a perfect title because, again, we see the leader in Tony. He's been a great example of when you have a vested interest in making a difference and effectuating change and bringing diversity into our profession. You can have a significant impact. I met Tony probably about 15 years ago at Top Gun. We were squad coordinators together, had a lot of fun, a lot of shenanigans, and I'm very proud of him. So I'll bring the president back up to intro Tony.
I can attest to you from personal knowledge that Tony is a true champion of diversity for the Department of Justice and an asset to the DEA. We have witnessed firsthand his commitment, his passion, and his hard work in making DEA a more inclusive space to work, which is why he so well deserves this Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Award. At this time, I would request U.S. Attorney Selinger back on the stage, First Assistant U.S. Attorney Vikas Khanna, and Executive Assistant U.S. Attorney Lee Cortez, and ASAC Colon. We also have Administrative Support Specialist Yolanda Dixon, please.
Listen, Harrison, and everybody here from the unit in Top Gun, we taught Camille very well, didn't we? No, I just want to say assalamu alaikum and thank all the dignitaries for being here. Look around the room, everybody in here is friends. We all work together. I'm looking at Phil Arana, who just retired. We all work together, a unit in Top Gun, and thanks for Phil for inviting me to be the first Fed to go be a squad coordinator for DA, Top Gun, and stuff like that. And we all stayed in touch with each other. And what a great job your organization is doing. What a great job MALEA is doing. And just keep up the good work. And I'm proud of you.
Now like the opportunity to recognize the following personnel from various prosecutors' office present with us today, starting with Atlantic County Prosecutor William Reynolds and Chief of Detectives Patrick Snyder, Bergen County Prosecutor Mark Masella, Deputy Chief of Detectives Hector Carter and Captain Tara Jennings, Bergen County Sheriff Anthony Curran, Under Sheriff Cora Taylor, and Chief of Staff James Edmonds, Burlington County Prosecutor Lachia Bradshaw, First Assistant Prosecutor Brenda Maneri, and Captain Mike Sperry, Essex County Prosecutor Theodore Stevens and Chief of Detectives Mitchell McGuire, Gloucester County Prosecutor Christine Hoffman and Deputy Chief of Detectives Steve Ingram, Hudson County Prosecutor Esther Suarez, Executive Assistant Prosecutor Eugene Rubino, and Chief of Detectives James Parker, Hunterdon County Prosecutor Renee Robeson, Middlesex County Prosecutor Yolanda Chigoni and Chief of Detectives Paul Miller, Ocean County Prosecutor Brad Billheimer and Chief of Detectives Anthony Carrington, Somerset County Prosecutor John McDonald and Executive Chief Assistant Prosecutor Michael Rogers, Union County Prosecutor William Daniel, Chief of Detectives Harvey Barnwell and DC Joe Vandas, and last but not least, Sussex County Prosecutor Anne Marie Taggart. Thank you all. Appreciate it. The next award, Prosecutor of the Year recipient, is also a MALEA member, Hudson County Prosecutor, Honorable Esther Suarez. She was sworn in as Hudson County Prosecutor in Jersey City, New Jersey in July of 2015. As the Chief Law Enforcement Officer in Hudson County, Prosecutor Suarez seeks to enforce all laws justly and uniformly and to ensure that justice is served. She's determined to provide the necessary leadership to make the office of Hudson County Prosecutor a model prosecutor's office and to promote a safe and secure environment which will enhance the quality of life for the 700,000 residents of Hudson County. Prosecutor Suarez oversees a staff of approximately 300 employees consisting of assistant prosecutors, detectives, and support staff. As prosecutor, she works in partnership with 17 police agencies in Hudson County in 12 municipalities, with the supervisory responsibilities over approximately 2,700 sworn law enforcement officers. Prosecutor Suarez is the first female and first Hispanic to serve as prosecutor in Hudson County's 182-year history. A primary focus of Prosecutor Suarez's tenure has been to develop a proactive response to violent crime. This includes the development and implementation of 3 new initiatives that are the first of a kind in Hudson County: the Hudson County Regional Collision Investigation Unit, Hudson County Regional SWAT, and Hudson County Regional Arson Task Force. Under her leadership, Prosecutor's Office has implemented and strengthened programs on domestic violence prevention, campus sexual assault prevention, victim support, advocacy, and lounge initiative, training on sexual and domestic violence awareness for the Hudson County hairdressers, as they are often on the front line of detection.
What did I say wrong? I have to just ask. Please forgive me. This has to be a Anyways.
Her leadership has also led to a more efficient and streamlined office as well as equipment the investigation division with the tools and equipment necessary for successful investigations, which led to successful prosecutions. Another area of focus for Prosecutor Suarez has been to use community outreach to establish and foster bonds of trust between residents of Hudson County and law enforcement. She has organized volunteers to go into each municipality to engage and inform the public on a multitude of topics, including gangs, drugs, personal and group safety, expungements, immigration, and proper conduct for students on the usage of cell phones, the internet, and social media. Prior to becoming a prosecutor, she served as a judge of the Superior Court of New Jersey for more than 5 years, from February 2010 to June 2015. As judge, she presided in the Civil Division in Hudson County and the Family Division in Passaic County. Prosecutor Suarez clerked for the Honorable Yolanda Ciccone and was admitted to the bars of the state of New Jersey in the state of New York. She received her law degree from Rutgers School of Law in 1997 and is a 1992 graduate of Rutgers University Douglas College. Prosecutor Suarez is really a prosecutor for the people. She cares, she makes herself available, and she's there when you need her. These are my personal comments. I'm not reading that off, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. She was the first prosecutor to become a regular MALEA member, and this was in 2020 when we started, and that meant a great deal to us. For a law enforcement executive to initiate, to reach out to us and say, I want to be part of this, that meant a great deal. And we'll always oblige you for that. And we are very proud to call you one of our very own. So at this time, I would like to request the General Plaquemine back on the stage to present the Prosecutor of the Year award to Prosecutor Suarez. Prosecutor Suarez, please come on.
I feel like I need to say a couple things. First of all, you did read it right. Ramadan Mubarak, first of all. Thank you for having me here. You said it right. We do everything we can to try to do some outreach, and we did reach out to the Hairdressers Association to try to get to domestic violence victims. It is a good idea. I'm happy to share it with you if you're interested. So what's interesting sometimes is that I am being honored here tonight as Prosecutor of the Year, and I'm so grateful and I'm humbled and thank you. But it is I that is in awe of MALEA and everything that they do. Whether it's distributing school supplies to students at the beginning of a school year to make sure that the children are able to succeed in the classroom, or if it's distributing food for parents to be sure to be able to feed their families. They are there, and they've become a model example of law enforcement giving back to the community. And one more thing about that, under Camille's leadership, and not to give Camille all the credit, but to give a lot of the credit to him, he has grown this organization to what it is today. And what it is today is reflected here in this room. So congratulations to him and congratulations to everyone that's part of the organization. I also want to congratulate all of the recipients that are receiving awards today. There is somebody in particular that I am going to individually recognize, and that's Heba, although I just don't see her. I don't know where she is. Where is Heba? Right there. Oh, okay, there you are. You're being honored here this evening, and you are such an inspiration for little girls. You definitely have shattered glass ceilings, and I'm going to tell you, keep being visible, keep being out there, keep doing what you're doing, because you are exactly what other little girls need to see, and we need more girls, we need more women in law enforcement. So with that, I am going to speak on behalf of my county prosecutors and the Attorney General's office during the very holy month of Ramadan. We're always invited to all these events, and we are greeted with such warm hospitality, and we all try to go to as many events as we can. So thank you for always thinking of us. Thank you for always inviting us, and thank you for always greeting us with the type of hospitality that you always do. Have a nice night.
Thank you very much, Madam Prosecutor. The next award is Law Enforcement Officer of the Year. Law enforcement motto is to protect and serve. Our next award recipient is a MALEA member who, as a law enforcement officer, is the epitome of what it means to protect the public from violent criminals, gang members, and dangerous individuals. He's a talented investigator and a supervisor and a superstar of the New Jersey State Police, which does an exceptional job in keeping us safe. Chief Dillard with the bio.
This is definitely a pleasure for me to talk about my brother, Gus. Born and raised in Philly, Detective Sergeant First Class Augustus Nikan Jr., better known as Gus, earned his Bachelor of Science degree from Bloomsburg University. He began his law enforcement career in 2001 with the Lower Merion Police Department in PA. And in 2004, he blessed us with his presence in Jersey and came to this side. He became a trooper. In 2006, Gus became involved in undercover work, attended the unit class. In 2008, he received the detective designation and been assigned to several units, including Metro South in Camden, the shooting team in Camden, street gangs, trafficking, operational dispatch, internal affairs, and interstate theft south. He's been a case agent and affiant on numerous investigations and has performed in an undercover capacity throughout New Jersey, selflessly assisting local and county agencies during countless high-level, multi-jurisdictional, multi-agency investigations involving narcotics, weapons, gangs, fraudulent documents, official corruptions, and other crimes. Also in 2008, Gus successfully completed the first FBI NJSP one-week residential undercover certification course. A year later, he successfully completed FBI's two-week residential undercover course, becoming a certified FBI undercover employee, and subsequently assisting the FBI with Operational Phone Flash, a 3.5-year joint terrorism task force investigation, the largest investigation into the terrorist organization Hezbollah to date. In addition to his incredible work as an undercover operative, Gus has trained thousands of law enforcement officers in New Jersey, throughout the country and abroad, including in Africa. He is currently responsible for managing the coordination and instruction of the FBI NJSP undercover certification course. He is an executive faculty member of DCJ's Undercover Narcotics Investigative Training Unit School. Additionally, he is responsible for overseeing the coordination of the State Police's Criminal Investigation School and assisted with creating the State Police's Physical Surveillance School, providing instructions at both. After serving as the State Police's first undercover coordinator, Gus became the assistant unit head for the Intelligence Services Unit, where he's currently responsible for supervising unit members, overseeing the coordination of undercover operations, and in managing the InfoShare and confidential source databases, the Witness Relocation Program, and the Pen Leak Program, as well as undercover documents. I now would like to request Colonel Callahan back to the stage to help present Officer of the Year, Detective First Class Augustus Nikan Jr. Other state police leadership come up as well.
Any troopers here? Come on up.
No, no.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead.
Stop being shy.
I'll stop being
being shy. Man, I would like to thank MALEA for putting this wonderful event together, as you can see by the diversity around the room, as everyone has previously stated. A lot of the work that I've done has been in undercover work. This is true. And often you hear people say things like, oh, well, I couldn't be an undercover because it's dangerous and other things. But when you really think about it, one of the pillars of undercover work is building rapport and knowing how to talk to people. And I believe as a cop, anybody that's in law enforcement, you should really know how to talk to people. I've been in law enforcement for over 20 years, never had to pull my gun one time. Just from knowing how to talk to people. And I think that when police as a whole, when everyone learns how to better communicate with people, regardless of religion, regardless of culture, regardless of race, just knowing how to talk to people, I think that that's when we as a whole will be better off. Thanks, everybody.
Before we go any further, I'm being told I've done it once again, so please forgive me. I forgot to, I neglected to mention Bergen County Prosecutor Martin Sella. Sir, I apologize. I didn't mean to. We had a little bit of a change in the program. MALEA chaplain, Dr. Arshad Choudhry is here, and I request that he come up and say a few words. He's the Imam at the New Brunswick Islamic Center.
Thank you, Kemal, and thank you to MALEA for putting this event together. It's a second event, and I'm happy to have been at both of them. I should have opened the program for you. I just want to apologize. As when your parents get old, sometimes you have to do things, and that's the reason of the delay. So I had to take my parents to do something at the end, and I liked what the Detective Sergeant Augustus just said. You have to know how to talk to people. My wife and I were saying, how are we going to explain being an hour late? So I said, with the truth, right? It's the truth. My dad needed to go to the hospital to visit my mom, and so that had to happen. There's no two ways around it. So, but I thank Kemal for improvising and still giving me the chance to speak, because I want to add something to what Sergeant Nayakin just said. You have to know how to talk to people in all situations, not just when you want something, but also when the people are blameworthy. And I'm going to share with you two stories. One is called The Prophet and the Debtor. These are real stories in our tradition. The other one's called Noah and the 40 Jugs. The first story is about the prophet and the debtor. The prophet, peace be upon him, had taken loans, and he would always take loans from the non-believers that didn't believe in him. And they said, oh prophet, we give our life to you. When you need a loan, why do you go outside the community? He said, because I know you'll never pay me back. You'll never ask for the money back. You'll give me the loan, and you'll be too shy to ask for the money back. So I go to people who I know have a precedent of rejecting me, and they'll easily tell me if it's something that they want the money back if they want it. So he gave this money to a Jewish man in Medina. He took a loan from him, and he had 3 days left before the payment of the loan had come due. Yet the Jewish man came, and in front of everybody, he yanked at the prophet's cloak, and he said, pay back your debt. You Hashemites, which is the prophet's family, you're never good at paying back your debts. So immediately the Prophet ﷺ, he had a man named Omar. Omar was, you can say, like the enforcer for the Prophet, peace be upon him. And he said, oh Messenger, he grabbed him, and he said, Messenger of Allah, and he grabbed his sword, and he said, give the order, I'll sever his neck for talking to you like this. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, no, you tell him to ask nicely, and you go to such and such a house, get the money, and pay him extra because you scared him. You pulled your sword out on him when he hadn't done anything to earn it. So he went back and he took the man and he said, let's go. They went to the house, gave him the money, and the Jewish man, meanwhile, asked him, you love me or hate me? And Omar said, of course I hate you. You talk to the Prophet like that. And he said, then why are you doing this? He says, because Allah commanded us to be just. So then the Jewish man pulled out his book. He said, we have in our book that the last messenger is someone, the more you are rough with him, the more calm he gets. That's knowing how to talk to people. The more you're rough with him, the more calm he gets, and I just wanted to see if this was real. And he entered Islam, became a Muslim after that. The next story is about a person who not just was rough, a whole group of people. We all know the history of the flood of Noah. And we have this in our tradition too. But this story says, the Prophet tells us a story about Noah. He says, after the flood, that God looked at the hearts of the people and saw something who were believers. Saw something he didn't like in their hearts. What was it? He said, namely, they seemed to have some kind of happiness that they were vindicated and the disbelievers were flooded. And anyone, if you've been oppressed or you've been fighting a people for years and years and years, when you're vindicated, you're naturally going to be happy. But it's not what the heart of the believer should look like. So God ordered Noah to make 40 jugs. And he labored to make 40 jugs. Then he said, Noah, take them all the way to the top of a mountaintop. And they thought, maybe this is going to be a new ritual. We have a new life, a new world, a new ritual. So he took them all, and all the people are waiting. What are these 40 jugs God asked you to make? Last time he asked you to make an ark, and we saw what that was for. So clearly there's a wisdom in whenever God asks you to make something. So then he said, Noah, one at a time, push them off the mountain. Everyone was perplexed. But Noah's a prophet of God, so he's going to obey his creator. He pushed them down. One tumbled down, crashed, broke. Next one tumbled down, crashed and broke. 40 jugs in a row. After all this effort, what is the point of breaking these 40 jugs? So that was it, silence from God after that. So Noah was sitting, sulking, upset about what he thought was going to be a good project. And then God said, and Noah, likewise is how I feel about destroying my creation. So this is the words of the heart, the feelings of the heart towards someone who not only was treating you bad, but was bad and deserved a punishment. That is how God taught the heart of a prophet to be, in his saying to Noah, likewise is how I am about destroying my creation. So that was all based upon Sergeant. I had these talks, these stories prepared in advance, but I felt that Sergeant Augustus had really hit the nail on the head, is that's all about learning how to talk to people. Likewise, one of the previous people said it's all about the theory of contact. Someone had earlier spoken that theory of contact. The more you're in communication with people, the better you are. And in this story of the prophet and Noah, it's not just the words that we say, but it's the state of someone's heart. That is important when a person talks to others. So with that, I'd like to say my final word of hope and prayer for MALEA. I hope and pray that this organization continues to survive and thrive and do good works and bring people together. And I thank Kemal and everyone involved. Thank you very much. So,
thank you, Dr. Messer. Moving right along, we're now at the Community Outreach Awards, and the next 3 award recipients are being recognized for their community outreach efforts. MALEA member Detective Muhammad of the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. He was unfortunately unable to join us today, also due to family obligations. Detective Muhammad is a U.S. Army veteran. He was stationed in Germany and completed a tour in Iraq. He started his law enforcement career with the Perth Amboy Police Department and worked there for 15 years. He served his first 2 years in Patrol Division, next 7 in Narcotics. a year as a juvenile detective, 3 years in Detective Bureau, and 2 years in Internal Affairs Unit. 3 years ago, he transitioned to the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, where he's currently assigned to Internal Affairs. Detective Muhammad is a kind-hearted and a devout Muslim who deeply cares about his community. He makes himself available whenever needed for the community engagement, But here's what I really love and respect about Muhammad. This very mosque where we're present today, and the mosque which Imam al-Masri belongs to, were the targets of a very hateful incident a few months back, which made the local Muslim community very upset and uneasy, to say the least. Detective Muhammad very courageously spoke out about the incidents from what he knew of them and how it made him feel as a Muslim and as a police officer. I believe it takes a superior level of policing the community when you execute your duty to the public in a dignified manner by standing up for them in frightening and uncertain times. He was able to do so because his bosses acknowledged and respected his feelings as a member of the Muslim community and part of their team. And I cannot stress enough the importance of this type of leadership in law enforcement today. With that being said, I request Prosecutor Choudhry to come back to the stage and accept the award on behalf of Detective Muhammad and say a few words.
Again, thank you this evening. Thank you, MALEA, for this award for our Detective Muhammad. He would love to be here tonight, but above all else, his family is his great devotion, and he's with them this evening. Detective Muhammad has been a real role model for all of us in the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office about community outreach, about all that we can do for all of our communities. And we thank you tonight for recognizing his hard work. Thank you.
The next Community Outreach Award recipient is Detective Jason Furman of the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office. Jason Furman was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. Upon graduating high school, he joined the U.S. Marine Corps and later the U.S. Army for a combined of 12 years of service. During this time, he completed 2 combat tours in Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom as an infantryman. In 2009, he became a police officer and is currently a detective with the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office and a task force officer assigned to the DEA. Furthermore, he's certified through the New Jersey Police Training Commission to instruct police recruits and on numerous courses and certifications to active police and security personnel. He possesses a bachelor in criminal justice from Felician University and a master's in public administration from Marist College. Currently, he's completing courses in business. He enjoys volunteering, youth mentoring, advocacy, outreach, and instructing for organizations such as the Police Explorers, the Young Marines, the Civil Air Patrol, Team Rubicon, the New Jersey Coalition Against Human Trafficking, and as a court-appointed special advocate. On a personal note, no one understands better than Jason the need to mentor young people, especially the inner city youth who may have fallen through the cracks of the society. He volunteers so much of his personal time to guide them. He's always there, and he's never said no to me whenever I've asked him to come out. Regardless of, of his assignment at work, he takes his responsibility with the utmost sincerity to help the youth become better adults of tomorrow. I request Director Duran to come up and present the award to Jason and make a few remarks. I also request DEA ASAC Nick Colin to come up for the presentation.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you to you, Lieutenant MALEA. This organization is great. You see what they've built here, from last year to seeing it now. It's double that, right? It's just going to get bigger and better. As far as, helping with the kids, people ask, oh, why the kids? They're hard to deal with. They have the attention span of a goldfish, right? You got to keep them engaged, right? You got to be active. But why the kids? Because we all were kids at one point. You know, and to see the kids that I've been having the privilege to deal with, it's an honor, right? I live vicariously through them because they're doing things I never thought I would do at that same age, right? Either you come from a broken family, trying to navigate that, they come from broken families, and they just want an opportunity. They want to serve, they want to do things that they want people to acknowledge them. And just being able to see them perform is worth the whole entire thing. So I appreciate you all. You know, to all my law enforcement partners here, you're appreciated as well. People will always talk about the negative things that police might get themselves into, but they don't say enough about the positive. So you're definitely appreciated. Keep doing what you're doing, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'll keep it very brief. Thank you for inviting me here this evening. I am very glad to be here for the second time representing OHSP, and I am very happy to have the honor to have presented Detective Furman with his award. Community outreach and interfaith outreach is something that is so important, as we all know here tonight, and that with us at OHSP, the whole interfaith outreach and interfaith advisory council program is key to helping to develop those partnerships amongst faiths, amongst law enforcement, amongst various sectors of society. And so I thank all of you who have been part of that with us, and those of you who haven't had an opportunity to participate in that, come on over and we'll have you there. But thank you again for having me, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm honored to represent the third and last recipient of the Community Outreach Award from MALEA. It's going to Detective Alex Lopez of the Union County Prosecutor's Office. Born and raised in Patterson, New Jersey, Detective Lopez commenced his career in law enforcement in 2007 with the New Jersey Department of Human Services Police. Immediately upon graduating from the police academy, he was assigned on loan to the Morris County Prosecutor's Office, where we worked together for many years. He started doing undercover investigations into narcotics, gangs, guns, gambling, and other criminal offenses. Many of these investigations led to wiretap investigations, resulting in numerous arrests and the seizure of large quantities of narcotics, weapons, and illegal contraband or illegal proceeds. Alex completed Top Gun in 2008 and went through a unit in 2009 and eventually became an instructor in both those programs. In October of 2011, Alex was hired by the Union County Prosecutor's Office and was initially assigned to the Criminal Case Control Unit. He was then assigned to the Child Advocacy Center Special Victims Unit, where his duties included investigating child sexual abuse, child physical abuse, profiling child neglect, and locating missing children and adolescents. While assigned to the Special Victims Unit, Alex prepared communication data warrants and search warrants, and he served as a member of the Union County Child Abduction Response Team. In February 2004, Detective Lopez was assigned to the Guns, Gangs, Drugs, and Violent Crime Task Force, where he participated in hundreds of investigations and operations. Alex has also overseen undercover operations in which other detectives have worked in an undercover capacity. He has participated in over 20 wiretap investigations and has served as a monitor, surveillance member, wire room supervisor, surveillance team leader, case detective, and affiant. Recently, he has been assigned to the Community Outreach Unit of the Union County Prosecutor's Office, where he represents the office at many community events. And I'm proud to know him and proud to bring him up to the stage to receive this next award. Alex, come on up.
Daniel William Daniel. Chief of Detectives Harvey Barnwell and Deputy Chief Joe Hundas. Please, President.
Thank you.
I just wanted to reread all of his qualifications and his bio. What you didn't hear about was since I came into the prosecutor's office in July of 2021, Detective Lopez has been an example of the contact theory. Okay, I know one of the chiefs mentioned the contact theory, education. It's hard to hate someone that you know and that you're educated about. Well, Alex is right in that category. He's the bridge builder in our office with the community. One example, if you haven't heard of the Safe Place Initiative as of yet, you will. It's a nationwide movement, I guess I would say, that was founded by the member of the Seattle Police Department. It's a bridge. It represents a bridge between our communities, whether they're business communities, religious faith communities, and the police. And it's a very, very simple concept. Originally in Seattle, it was designed to address crimes against the LGBTQ community. Members of the LGBTQ community were somewhat ashamed or afraid to come to the police to report crimes in light of their status in their lives. Well, Officer Dorian from the Seattle Police Department brought forth this program, and what it consists of basically is placing a decal on the front window of a business or a house of worship or in a school where these establishments agree to allow refuge to one who might feel that they're the victim of a crime or about to be a victim of a crime. Bullying, rage, things of that nature. And that program was rolled out nationwide, and it came here to New Jersey. Attorney General Platkin, thank you very much for fostering that program as part of your campaign against hate, violence, bullying. So what happened? 2022, Alex Lopez hears about this program that was started actually down in Monmouth. I know Asbury Park and Red Bank were big on this program. And Alex ran with this idea in Union County. Alex Lopez reached out to 25 law enforcement agencies in Union County and had each and every one of those agencies contact Dorian Correo out in Seattle to get certified to participate in this program. And in the summer, when did we have that rollout?
It was in the summer. We rolled it out in October.
October 2022. We rolled it out at Kane University, and we're the first county, I'm bragging a little bit, but Union County was indeed the first county in the country to have each and every one of its law enforcement agencies certified to roll out this Safe Place initiative. And that's because of the work here of Alex Lopez. And I talked to him one day in my office, and I'm like, Alex, what do you know, how you doing with this? This is a great opportunity, Judge. I think I found, my calling in this office with community outreach, and it's fun. So I just wanted to give you an example of something that Alex is all about. He's all about bridge building. He's all about relationships. And if you have an opportunity to speak to Alex here tonight, I think you're going to see why he is so effective in his relationships with the community. That's just an example. If you ever want to learn a little bit about the Safe Place Initiative, I urge you to contact our office, speak to Alex, go on our website, you'll see it there. And again, I urge you to consider rolling out this program in your community. Let's get it statewide. Thank you.
Thank you, Prosecutor Daniel, since I love public speaking. So I'd like to thank MALEA for this award. And like Prosecutor Daniel said, I worked in multiple units in the Union County Prosecutor's Office, and the most rewarding unit has been community outreach. Getting out there and talking to members of the community, it's great. I mean, there's nothing more that I can say about it. You get to speak to different people from different cultures, from different towns, and just building that relationship, letting people know that law enforcement is here to also be there with you, to support you, to take in your questions that you may have with regards to the field of law enforcement. Coming from certain countries, law enforcement and the community might not be as strong. So it's been an honor for me, for the prosecutor, the Chief Harvey Barnwell, and Deputy Chief Joe Vendas, believing in me and giving me the opportunity to be the representative for the Union County Prosecutor's Office and to, get out in Union County and the state of New Jersey and represent the Union County Prosecutor's Office. Thank you all, because you all are members of the community, so I thank you again, and I thank MALEA for this award. Thank you.
While we're at the topic of community service and outreach, I have a surprise acknowledgement to make, which is not on the formal agenda. MALEA is only able to do what it does because of its partnerships. One of our most gracious and giving partners is Goya Food Inc. Goya has its headquarters in Secaucus, New Jersey, but it is certainly a multinational corporation. Every year, Goya donates thousands of pounds of food to organizations like MALEA, in return which it gives us the ability to go into some of the poorest inner city neighborhoods and give out food. So at this point, Today we have the Goya's Director of Public Relations, Rafael Toro, and Public Relations Associate Natalia Rosario with us. I would like to invite them both to the stage and present them with the award. Thank you. Good night.
I would like to thank MALEA for this honor, this recognition. Listen, in order to do things, we all have to work together. And as someone that has been working with the public for a very long time, I think the key word in working with people is empathy. You've got to be able to be in the shoes of the people that you're dealing with. And I see by this audience here, and I see by this organization, that you guys understand that. And I want to, as a civilian, thank you for all you do. Thank you for protecting us. And it is our pleasure that Goya can say that we work with you. Thanks.
All right, the next three award recipients is Lifetime Career Achievement. And before we get into this next category, I would like to briefly speak about last year's Career Achievement Award recipient, MALEA member DA ASAC Nick Colin. Last year, Iftar was held on April 21st, which was his 31st work year anniversary. And today marks his last day in office. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for DA ASAC Nick Colin, 34 years of law enforcement. The next three award recipients for Lifetime Career Achievement Awards are definitely some of the cream of the crop in law enforcement this state has to offer, or had to offer, I should say. Recently retired Chief of Atlantic County Investigators, Bruce K. DeShields, is definitely an OG in the business. He's a role model to many of us. We respect his experience and his candor because he's someone we consider who's done it all. I can tell you that when I met him for the first time during Top Gun training well over a decade ago, I immediately became a fan of his wit and sharp sense of humor. So with that, Chief Dillard will read his bio.
Chief DeShields served with the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office for 33 years. He's a veteran law enforcement officer with a total of 41 years of law enforcement experience. Let's applaud that first. He started as an auxiliary special with the Atlantic City Police Department in 1978. He started his full-time law enforcement career in 1982. Prior to joining the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office, Chief DeShields served as a patrolman with the Riverside Township Police Department, the State of New Jersey Human Services Police Department, and the Richard Stockton College Police Department. Throughout his career, Chief DeShields has served in all ranks at the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office. As a lieutenant commanding the Major Crimes Unit, Chief DeShields served as the on-scene commander of homicide investigations and officer-involved shootings. He was in charge of the homicide unit, forensics unit, arson unit, fatal collision unit, and drug-related death investigations. As a captain, he served as the commander of the litigation division, overseeing the grand jury unit, trial unit, special litigation unit, juvenile unit, and county crisis negotiation team. In this role, he was responsible for assuring the AG's bail reform initiative goals were met. He also served as the Atlantic County Opioid Task Force, the liaison with the State of New Jersey's Opioid Initiative, the coordinator for the Atlantic County Law Enforcement Naloxone program, and as the team leader of the Crisis Negotiation Unit. Chief DeShields also served as the commander of the Special Investigations Unit, which includes the Guns, Gangs, and Narcotics Unit, the Intelligence Vice President of Noble, New Jersey, the South New Jersey chapter, and serves as the New Jersey Less Than Lethal Review Committee. At this time, I would like to request Atlantic County Prosecutor William Reynolds and Chief Snyder to the stage to present this award. Chief DeShields, please come up as well.
So, good evening. I have the honor to introduce Bruce
to everyone here. I know a lot of people have had probably a very long relationship with Bruce. He seems to know just about everybody and has been a conduit for our office to touch a lot of people's lives. Bruce, the bio is incredible, all the different aspects of law enforcement that Bruce has touched, but what's not in that bio is that Bruce also broke the ceiling in Atlantic County. Bruce has literally changed the face of law enforcement in Atlantic County. Bruce is a legend. When I first met Bruce, I was humbled because of all of the stories I heard about him. And then once I was in the office, the stories kept coming, and they said if you ever needed to solve a homicide and crack a witness, bring in Uncle Bruce and he will close it out. And that is just one thing that Bruce did to help the citizens of Atlantic County. But what he really did was he touched so many people and affected and impacted so many lives positively in Atlantic City and Atlantic County that there are no words, no description that could actually depict the effect that he had on the community. And what he also did, and what a true leader does, is Bruce set up our organization for success. And what does a leader do? A leader prepares for succession. And what Bruce did, and Chief Snyder, who went and sat down because he doesn't like the public side of the job, Bruce set up Pat for success because Bruce was Pat's work dad. And Bruce was Pat's mentor. And every unit that Bruce went to, Pat followed him. And Pat and Bruce have forged an incredible relationship. And what Bruce did is he created a legacy. He may have been in an office for 33 years and in law enforcement for 41 years. What Bruce actually did for Atlantic County is for the next 30 years. Because all of the people that are there on the detective division specifically have been touched by Bruce, trained by Bruce, and mentored by Bruce. And when Bruce was announcing his retirement, I asked him, Bruce, what's one of the things you want to do? He actually spoke of others and helping others. And that's been the whole mantra of Bruce's entire career. And I'm humbled to introduce him as the Lifetime Achievement Award here. And this organization, this event is incredible. LT and Chief, I give you guys a lot of credit. This is amazing. The audience you have in this room and the significance of the contact theory that you discussed is 1,000% true, and Bruce embodies that. I give you Chief the Shields.
I'd like to thank MALEA for this honor, but it's really kind of humbling to get an honor for something that I had the honor to do for so many years. To be recognized for doing something that you truly loved is like the cherry on top. You know, I did have a long career. You know, I used to joke to say that when I looked at a lot of my younger detectives, I kind of felt like the old guy at the club, you know, wearing a leisure shooting platform shoes, you know. But the one thing, you know, I was always able to do was relate to it. And, you know, one of the big things that we hear a lot about now in the profession is about resiliency. And one of the honors I got to do the last couple of years was go teach the police academy. So I would come in and teach a couple of blocks like 2 weeks before they graduated. And one of the things that I would tell them is they're about to embark on one of the greatest careers that there is, that they have the ability to impact people. And, you know, I said to them, I said, look, you had the resiliency training, and you hear a lot of negative things that could happen to you in this career. I said, but I stand before you as a guy that's done 40 plus years, and I got a smile on my face. I don't have a drinking problem. Of course, I'm known to do a lot of good bourbon. But it's not a problem. It's always good. You know. But what I mean out of that is that, you know, we're in a profession that people call when they need help. You know, I said, so, you know, when you hear and you're constantly complaining the fact that, hey, I'm running from this call to this call, I'm always dealing with problems. I said, you know, this is what we signed up for. Very few people have the honor to do what we do. Very few people have a profession where that you have the ability, all right, to take someone's freedom away, all right, to represent the law. But also, too, we also have to talk and remember we're human. One of the things I used to say to them is remember this as you go out the door. We all have family. So when you contact an individual, deal with that individual as if that was somebody in your family that you're going to deal with. Because, you know, in our profession, we have a lot of rules, but we also have a lot of discretion, you know? And, you know, to sum it all up, again, I'll shut up because as Pat will tell you, I can roll. But one other thing I didn't say is today is Pat's birthday, and he came up here for me. So again, I thank you all. Just one quick funny thing is, so I was telling Pat, I got these new glasses, and they have like this intense thing for vision, but they also have these readers. So when I looked at the stage, I was like, oh my God, it got steps. Because when I move my head, the steps fluctuate. So when you see me walk down, if I walk like I'm an old guy, it's only because the floor moves. So I thank you all very much.
Clearly, the theme of the evening is giving back, but I think there's also an emerging theme, predominantly due to my mistakes. When you make a mistake, you acknowledge and you correct them. I handed you the wrong plaque, so.
Okay, it is my honor to talk about and introduce the next Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, Philip S. Arno, who recently retired as the first assistant prosecutor with the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office. Phil and I started our careers together. I met Phil in 2000 when I worked for Burlington County, and we remained tight all these years and worked together in various trainings, so it's my honor to be here to talk about Phil. Burlington County has 40 municipalities and 6 New Jersey State Police stations. Phil was previously an Assistant Attorney General and served as the Bureau Chief of the Prosecutor Supervision and Training Bureau with the New Jersey Division of Criminal Justice. He initially joined DCJ as part of the newly formed New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission initiative to bolster domestic counterterrorism efforts following the events of 9/11, and eventually became the chief of that unit. He was also charged with statewide training as part of the facial scrub and human trafficking initiatives. As a prosecutor, Phil handled many high-profile cases on behalf of DCJ and was later assigned to prosecute violent gang activities such as narcotics and firearms trafficking and related crimes such as shootings and homicides as part of the Gangs and Organized Crime Bureau. He served as liaison to the New Jersey State Parole Board and led various multi-jurisdictional task forces targeting fugitives charged with violent crimes. He still serves as co-counsel to the statewide County Narcotics Commanders Association and as a faculty member and coordinator with the Top Gun Training Program for the interdiction and prosecution of gang, gun, and drug cases. He is one of the founders of the Delta Leadership and Supervising Training Program and the Unit School for Undercover Officers. Phil is also the project director on behalf of the Attorney General's Office for the series of fugitive safe surrender programs held across the state over a period of 5 years, which was nationally recognized by the United States Marshal Service with a combined total of that exceeded 18,000 fugitives who surrendered, and a clearance rate. General Placken has been very gracious to us, which is why I'm requesting him to come back to the stage to present this Lifetime Achievement Award for Phil, along with the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office.
Everybody. So up until about a day or so ago, I didn't even think I would be able to make it to this event, but I'm so glad that I was able to do so. And I don't have anything prepared to say, but I'm competitive. I couldn't let all the other prosecutors come up here and brag about their counties. So I'll just come up and say a few words, especially to acknowledge Phil. As many of you may or may not have heard before, I actually started in Burlington County in 1999, and Phil was already there. And I jokingly tell everybody that he was literally and figuratively one of my first partners in crime in the juvenile unit there in Burlington County. And since that time, we've seen Phil leave our office and go off to the Attorney General's office and flourish there and do such a wonderful job. And he's come back to us and served as our first assistant, 25 years in law enforcement. And he has left an indelible mark on Burlington County. Some of my heartfelt favorites, actually the BC Pies program in Burlington County Partners for Youth Success, as well as the Play Streets program, which is near and dear to my heart as well. And I'm sure that many people in this room know him for the outstanding contributions he's made to Top Gun and training law enforcement officers in narcotics investigations. So with that, I just want to congratulate Phil, thank him for all of his service in Burlington County and throughout the state, and give him a handshake, a final handshake, because I've been acknowledging him in so many awards since he's just retired in January, but I'm glad to do it again. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Phil.
Prosecutor. Thank you, Prosecutor. I have enjoyed all the years together. It literally, from when we started prosecuting juvenile cases. I wanted to thank MALEA. Camille, thank you so much for this honor, and Harrison. It is an important honor. It's my second time attending also, and I was here last time when most worthy recipients received their awards. I wanted to acknowledge all the recipients. I have had the pleasure to work with almost every single one of them, and it is humbling to work with such incredible people. The one thing, and Gus had highlighted, which was to speak about communication. And I think, from my own perspective, one of the most important pieces of being able to communicate is speaking with integrity and honor. And from that place gives you that ability to have a meaningful conversation. And I have seen that in each and every one of these recipients and their leadership as well. And I also wanted to comment on all the leaders that I see in this room today, who throughout my career I've had the pleasure to work together with in various capacities, and you exemplify the same thing. Your passion for your work, your dedication to your craft, and your integrity is what makes you successful and what makes us successful. I believe that this is the noblest profession. I believe that we have a higher purpose in what we do. One of the things that I am very strenuous about is my devotion to at-risk and disadvantaged youth. BC PIES, the Burlington County Partnership for Youth Success, and all the other endeavors that we have done. In leadership, Maxwell has said, a great leader does not create followers, he creates more leaders. And from my perspective, that was one of the things, and it's a theme that's carried forward. But to me, more importantly, is our youth and the efforts for our youth. Frederick Douglass said that it is easier to build strong children than repair broken men. And for us, to me, the commitment is for our youth and to spend the time with them. So I commend all of our outreach recipients for their work in recognizing that contribution, which will have a profound impact on their communities. I also wanted to acknowledge my family. My wife, Kirsten, is in law enforcement lieutenant with OPIA, has had a lengthy career also. It gives us lots to talk about at the dinner table. Our boys, unfortunately, have to live with law and order in real life, the prosecutor and the police, but it creates for a very fruitful dialogue as we explain what we do and how we do it. I want to thank two of my boys that are here, Carrick and Micah. I've spent a lot of long hours away from the office, or with the office away from my family, and I think each of you share that. When you're committed to your craft, it means that you have to give up yourself, and that means that somewhere else has to be lacking. And unfortunately, that tends to be our families and those we hold dearest. So for each of you, for your commitments to what you do, I will remind you that at home, the most important thing is your family. So I want to acknowledge my family and thank them for their support over the years, and thank each of you for your friendships throughout my career. Thank you again.
The last recipient of Lifetime Career Achievement Award is the almost retired Lieutenant Michael Perez from the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office. Anyone that knows Mike will attest that he has a heart of gold. For me personally, Mike's always been the friend who checks in on you regardless of whatever's going on in his personal life, and that says a lot about this man's character. I'm proud to call him a friend. Lieutenant Perez holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Sociology with a concentration in Criminal Justice from the Fairleigh Dickinson University, and a Paralegal Studies Program certification from Fairleigh Dickinson, also from Fairleigh Dickinson. He started his career with the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office in 1998 and was assigned to the Grand Jury Juvenile Bureau Narcotics Task Force, during which he participated in well over 2,000 drug-related investigations, made over 750 purchases of controlled dangerous substances,
and illegal firearms in an undercover capacity, and he participated in the arrest of approximately 1,100 individuals related to drug and weapons offenses, conducted reversal operations in an undercover capacity, resulting in the seizure of large amounts of U.S. currency. He was also assigned as a task force officer to the DEA Group 5 in Newark and to HIDA Group in Paterson, New Jersey. He was then assigned to the Special Victims Unit, during which he conducted and supervised hundreds of sexual assault, child abuse investigations, to include conducting hundreds of interviews of victims, witnesses, and suspects, during which confessions for the crime being investigated were obtained, resulting in arrest. His last assignment with BCPO was to the Community Engagement Division, where he was tasked with promoting awareness and addressing the needs and issues facing local communities while seeking to build and strengthen relationships between Bergen County residents and Bergen County law enforcement agencies. During his career with BCPO, he was promoted to Detective First Grade in 2008, promoted to Detective Sergeant in 2015, promoted to Lieutenant in 2019. His special skills include polygraph examiner, speaker, instructor, coordinator for various narcotics and sexual assault, child abuse investigation trainings for law enforcement personnel, regional SWAT team crisis negotiator, and he's an expert in narcotics, both for Superior and Federal Court. Some of his career recognitions include a few New Jersey Narcotics Enforcement Officers Association awards, several PBA 221 honorable service citations and merititious award service medals, BCPO merititious service awards, Bergen County Chiefs Association awards, New Jersey PBA Valor Awards, and AG's Excellence in Policing Award for Community Engagement, and 2022 FBI Leader Trilogy Award. I request Prosecutor Mark Masella, Deputy Chief Hector Carter, Captain Tara Jennings, Lieutenant Mike Perez, and Lieutenant Carlos James to come to the stage, please. Receive this award.
Good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. I want to thank MALEA for putting together this great event. Committee doing a great job tonight. I'm going to be brief. You heard about all of Mike's accomplishments, but what you really have to know about Mike, the only thing I can really tell you about Michael is that he's a wonderful human being. He's a wonderful person. Mike comes to work every day with a big smile on his face and just a positive attitude. And all you really need to know about Mike is every time I ask Mike how he's doing, he says, "I'm blessed. I love coming to work every day." And Mike, you heard he's going to retire soon. And I said to Mike, "Mike, what are you going to do?" And he told me, "Boss, I'm going to go work with the kids." And that's the other thing you have to know about Mike. He really volunteers all his time outside of work to working with the youth. He works with the POW in Hackensack, which is the Police Athletic League. He volunteers to coach basketball and baseball with the kids. And I just found out the other day that through Mike's efforts, the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office raised over $25,000 working toward Tomorrow's Children's Foundation. So through Mike's efforts. And that's all I have to say about Mike. So congratulations, Mike. And we're going to miss you, and get back to Tesla.
Not to have to avoid this speech, but so I was writing down as the recipients and who spoke before me, and I took away a couple of nuggets. But before I get into that, I have to say thank you to MALEA and the executive staff of MALEA for putting together this amazing event. It's been said many times before, to get the amount of people in this room and the dignitaries in this room takes a lot of effort. And so I salute you, Camille, for doing that, man. God bless you, brother. God bless. I'm going to come back to that, but I do, like I said, I do want to acknowledge and congratulate the recipients of all the awards that are given out tonight that were before me and that are to come after me. I've got to meet and personally know a lot of you, and you're so deserving of the awards that you received. And it's so great to be reminded of the great work that you all do in your community, in your offices, and in your personal lives, man. Just great stuff for all of you, and congratulations again. I gotta take nuggets. Is all about nuggets, right? When people speak, you want to take something away from what they speak. So I don't want to keep going, because I know there's people to speak after me, and a lot spoke before me. But Bodhi, thank you for that contact theory, man. Appreciate you. That's strong. Gus, talking to people, so important. It's probably the best tool that I've had in my belt during my career. Learning how to talk to people. I too have not, taken out my firearm to hopefully de-escalate a situation. I've used the tool of the mouthpiece. Prosecutor Suarez, I've witnessed that young lady talk to crowds in a mosque, and you hit it right on the nail when you talked about the women in law enforcement, how important it is. And it's really hard, man. I've been blessed to be in a position to try to help people, and it's hard to get females and diverse females to join this career. So you hit it right in the nail. So thank you for reminding everyone in this room about that. Jason, great point. Engaging with the youth. I'm here because someone engaged me at a very age in life, and it's so important that the future, right? And putting a little energy into the youth and being a mentor to them in difficult times has tremendous value. So for what you do, brother, thank you. I looked at two quick quotes, and one of which was from Bruce Lee, of all. He talked about persistence, right? I'm going to read it because I don't want to jack it all up. But he says here, persistence is the power that can be created and maintained through daily practice, continuous effort. So real quick, I know I'm up here, but I do want to talk and acknowledge Camille. Camille, he, 3 years ago, he just had this vision, and he got together with some people that really not only talked about it, but was about it. And to see, the valleys and the ebbs and flows of this process, to be able to get where you are today, in light of adversity, in light of challenges, in light of everything that you've been going through, man. I salute you, man. You here. Strong. This is hard to do. This is hard to do to get the amount of people in this room that you have, and the people that are here to listen to the amazing work that MALEA does in the community, and just in the law enforcement community as well. The last quote I'm going to talk about is from Dr. Martin Luther King. He talked about life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? I hope that in my 25-year career, I did something for others, and I look forward to continuing to do for others, youth, Hispanics, Muslims, Jewish, females, everyone, because together that village approach is what makes the difference. So let's be persistent, and let's keep doing for others in law enforcement, outside of law enforcement. I want to thank you all for letting me be here in front of you today and talk as much as I did. So God bless, and thank you again.
So I'm looking at the time, and we're getting very close. I want to acknowledge we have 2 more award recipients. So I'm going to get right to it. The next award recipient. The next award recipient is a MALEA member, Patrolman Andre Tirado of the Franklin Township Police Department. As you can see, Andre is sitting right here working even when he's getting the award. He's in charge of the projects we're seeing up here, and pretty much a lot of the events that we do. And Andre is just an incredible and reliable friend and an asset to MALEA. Andre started his career in 2015 as a SLEO, and in 2016 he went to Franklin Township PD, where he's currently assigned to Traffic Safety Bureau. He's also a founding member of MALEA, and currently serves as an executive board as the executive assistant. I request Somerset County Prosecutor John McDonald to the stage to present the award. I also request Somerset County Executive Chief Assistant Prosecutor Michael Rogers, Franklin Township Police Officer in Charge Captain Sean Heaven, Lieutenant Vincent Wilson, and as well as the Deputy Mayor Ram Anabrasan and Councilwoman Shiba Abdi to join Andre on the stage. Come on up, Andre.
Andre, you had a difficult task here following the Distinguished Lifetime Achievement Award recipients. And all of the accolades that they received and all the good things that they have done in their careers were really wonderful to hear, very inspiring, and very thoughtful. But you have a gift that I think many of us would willingly trade for in a moment, and that is the gift of youth, and the hope, and the promise, and the excitement that comes with youth. And as you sat here today, this evening, you undoubtedly thought to yourself, wow, I hope I could attain those achievements. I hope I could do those wonderful things for people. And I hope that I could be the type of person that others in the audience would aspire to be. But many of us look at you and we'd say, well, I would like to have the opportunity to do all that. And you have that opportunity. Our county and the Franklin Township Police Department are very proud of you. We expect a lot of you, and I think you're going to deliver. Congratulations.
All right, I'll keep it nice and short. I know everybody's hungry, so I'll keep it short. I just first off want to thank the members, the women and men of MALEA. We put in a lot of work for different events. You see the women and men every single time we have an event, they come out. A lot of the times, last minute, we come together when we find out there's an event. I'd also like to thank Camille. Camille has done a lot for this organization. He had a vision and he went with it. And last year I was sitting here right before we got everything together, and I was like trying to picture everybody in the room. And after the event I was like, wow, we had so many people. There's no way we're gonna top it again. And this year, we doubled in size. We doubled in size of members. And as of just me sitting there a few minutes ago, another member joined MALEA. So I'm very happy to be here, very honored to be here. I'm thankful for everyone coming out here today on behalf of MALEA. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Andre. Last but not least, we've reserved the President's Award for a very special person. The recipient of President's Award is Detective Hiba Al-Atiq from the Jersey City Police Department. Hiba Al-Atiq was born in Egypt and at the age of 7 moved to the United States as a result of her parents seeking a better future for their children. She grew up in Jersey City, and from very early on, she knew she wanted to position herself in a role where she could contribute in helping others. In 2016, Hiba took a leap of faith and entered Passaic County Police Academy, and upon graduation became the first Muslim female officer of Jersey City Police Department. But more importantly, he was the first hijabi police officer in the state of New Jersey. Hiba was assigned to the Patrol Division in West District for first year, and then was assigned to a plainclothes detail combating open-air drug markets and gang activity. Hiba also worked in the training unit as a field training officer, and last year Hiba was promoted to the rank of detective and is currently assigned to the North District. She has a degree in psychology and is married to a Jersey City detective. He was a mother of 2 beautiful girls and comes from a family of 9 siblings, God bless, 3 of whom are also law enforcement officers. So Hiba comes from a family of law enforcement. Hiba is a board member whose expertise I often rely on, and I appreciate her leadership and commitment to the association. Whenever I reach out to her, she makes herself available, and you know, I really do appreciate that about her. I request that Prosecutor Suarez come back on the stage to present the award. The Executive Assistant Prosecutors Gene Rubino, Chief James Parker, Jersey City Police Department, Officer in Charge, Deputy Chief Nicola Flora, and Police Director Twanda Modi. Please come on up.
She always represents us very, very well, and I'm proud to call her a colleague and a partner. She's got, I know someone said that she broke barriers, glass ceilings. We have right now 3 Altiques, and I know you said she has 9 siblings. I'm sure we'll have 9 siblings at some point. So, yes. That's all. Everyone enjoyed dinner. Thank you for having us, and I'm going to turn it over to Detective Altique. Thank you, guys.
All right, I'm gonna be really red, so just prepare for it. I didn't expect when I got on the force to be the first Muslim female, but breaking that barrier and being like an example has nothing but like great for me. And I actually just wanna introduce my sister who just became a Jersey City cop, and she's the second hijabi in Jersey City. So it's a proud moment for me as well. Thank you all for coming, and let's break fast.
That concludes our program. I would like to, recognize all MALEA members. If you're a MALEA member, please stand up. Any MALEA members, please stand up and give yourself a round of applause. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. At this point, I would request Trooper Tahir Muhammad from New Jersey State Police to the stage. I believe he has a few words to say, and he'll perform the adhan, at which point we'll break our fast and dinner is ready to be served. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. To all the Muslims in attendance, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And to those who are not Muslim in attendance, Yarhamakallah, meaning may Allah have mercy on you, as I hope that He has mercy on us all. Last year, Kamil requested that I come and call the adhan, and I said sure, because I love to call the adhan. It's something that is a very beautiful thing to do, and it's something that I enjoy doing. So when he requested it, I answered the call and literally came and called the adhan. And when I did last year, my sister-in-law, she had a knack for scouring social media and finding me calling the adhan at various places. And I think the batteries are going out, but she had a knack for scouring social media and finding me calling the adhan, would post it to our family group chat, and it would be like, she found Waldo. So it was a very beautiful thing. And last year, she said that, she was asking, what is MALEA? And I told her what it was about, and she said, Inshallah, meaning God willing, I'll be able to make it to next year's Iftar dinner. And the reason why she said that is because she was, for the better part of a year, battling breast cancer. And she had a zeal that she wanted to strive and to continue on for her husband, my twin brother, and for their 3 children. And about a half a year after that, 6 months roughly, unfortunately she did not win the fight against breast cancer, and she died this past October. So one thing that I do, and it's something I try to stress to people, is that we all are human beings, and we all have loved ones or friends that we've lost in the past. And sometimes we think about them, and I don't know if you guys do it or not, but whenever I think about someone that has died, I instantly turn to God and I make a supplication for them. Because she was unable to make it to this dinner and iftar, I kindly request all the attendants, whether you are Jewish, Christian, or Muslim, to please join me in making a supplication for my sister-in-law. Ya Allah, please forgive her for the sins that she committed, whether she knew it or didn't know it. May she be welcomed into heaven, and not just the lowest level, but the highest level of heaven. And may she be reunited with her children, and her loving husband, and may you shower your mercy on her as you do on all of your creation, and may she be amongst those who receive her book of deeds in her right hand on the day of judgment, and may she be reunited with her family in the next life. In Arabic, we say Ameen, which is the exact same thing as saying Amen. So we'll close with saying Ameen or Amen. And inshallah, let me see what time it is. We have to break our fast at 7:34. I know you guys are waiting to, some of you have been waiting all day. That was a bad joke. And it's time. So we say, Allahumma laka samt, wa bika amant, wa ala rizqika aftart, ذهب الظما وابتلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. بسم الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe dinner is ready. There's 2 stations. Please help yourself. Assalamu everyone, my name is Kamil Warayich. I'm a police lieutenant and president of the Muslim American Law Enforcement Association, and tonight was our 3rd annual Iftar dinner and a award ceremony in which about 12 law enforcement officers from different levels of government were acknowledged, and we had a great turnout. We had the U.S. Attorney here. We had the Attorney General of New Jersey present with us. We had 6 SACs, Special Agent in Charges of federal law enforcement agencies with us. And we had 12 county prosecutors, which is a great turnout. We had the colonel of the state police with us. So we're really, truly blessed, and the turnout shows the success of the organization and what we stand for and why we're appreciated. And we're going to continue to do what we're doing and give back to the communities that we belong to and communities at large. So thank you. And